Today at 1, travel chaos, schools closed and thousands of homes without power after Storm Goretti battered the UK last night. Winds of up to 99 miles per hour caused widespread damage and heavy snowfall has blocked roads with flights and trains disrupted. Hello, good afternoon. Storm Goretti has battered much of the UK with thousands of people facing power cuts, travel chaos and school closures. The storm brought heavy snow in parts of the country and violent winds. In the southwest of England, there were gusts of up to 99 miles per hour, causing widespread damage. Our correspondent Jessica Lane has the latest.
They called it a weather bomb, and it certainly caused destruction in some areas. Here in Guernsey, people had to be evacuated from their homes when the roof blew off.
Literally, the flat roof came through my window straight at me.
I could hear the wind, and I just said it was I thought our window was going to cave in, but it didn't. And yeah, it was just a case of
not knowing.
Yeah, not knowing until we got outside and nearly got blown over in the process. But
I could hear lots of banging and crashing, and when I looked out the balcony, there was things had flown away. I was like, let's just shut the curtains, stay safe.
The Channel Islands saw dozens of trees come down and many schools had to close today. And the southwest of England has been badly affected. Tens of thousands of homes lost power overnight.
Certainly approaching 170,000 houses and households have already been reconnected after the storms passed through. Unfortunately, though, we still have somewhere in the region of 60,000 nationwide, so certainly across England and Wales, who are still off power. But safe to say we've got teams out working right now, and they will be there throughout until we get every house back onto power.
We've had a red warning over Cornwall and into the Isles, and that has less than severe devastation. Our crews have been dealing overnight with localised flooding, all of those people that have been left without power, and of course a number of trees that have also been blown over, blocking roads and access routes for emergency services and for people to move around.
TV presenter Steve Backshall and his wife, Olympian Helen Glover, were at home in Land's End, where they felt the full force of the storm. They said it was worse than they'd feared.
Last night, I've never seen anything like it. Being inside the house was like being on the bridge of a ship in the Antarctic. It was absolutely ferocious. It felt like the roof was about to blow off. As I've said, many of the windows did blow in, and just the pressure was incredible. You could feel it in your ears, this huge build-up of pressure inside the house. Our ears were constantly popping with just this full-on, and it felt like the house was just going to take off.
Overnight, gritters did their best, but it was still hard for people trying to get out to work, school or further afield this morning. Problems on roads, railways and at airports across the country, and much of the disruption will cause knock-on effects for many hours.
Particularly in the Midlands and, as we were hearing earlier, in Wales, there are big problems. I'd say the largest number of people who are going to be affected are in the Midlands. Nottingham particularly badly affected, lots of lines in and out of there closed until later in the morning. We know that Peak District trains, places like Buxton and on the Manchester to Sheffield line, those are closed simply until tomorrow.
In Wales, beautiful wintry scenes, although it's led to homes without power and disruption to many areas. And in Scotland too, heavy snow has made it hard for people to get out and about. In Birmingham, there was a purple sky last night. It brought little delight today for many residents, although some did manage to have fun in the snow. Jessica Lane, BBC News.
Let's get more on the aftermath of the storm now. In a minute, we'll speak to our reporter, Robert Hall, who's in Jersey. But first, let's get the picture in the West Midlands and go to Kasia Madeira, who's in Solihull. And Kasia, how are things looking there?
Well, Ben, a picture postcard scene, but it comes at a cost because the Midlands have experienced their worst storm in a decade. Just under 10,000 homes are still without power and there have been real serious travel disruptions. West Midlands Railway say that they are running a really reduced service and they're not offering a rail replacement bus service because of the uncertain conditions on the roads. Now, Birmingham Airport has reopened its runway, but again, as you'd expect, there are severe flight cancellations and disruptions. Hundreds of schools have been closed across the region, and as this snow melts into slush, there is concern that it will become very icy over the weekend ahead.
OK, Kasia, thank you very much. And let's go to Robert Hall, who's in Jersey. Robert, the Channel Islands particularly badly hit.
Yeah, they were, Ben, particularly Guernsey, as you were hearing a little earlier. I think Steve Baxshall summed it up when he described his experiences. This was a storm which actually shook houses. We drove up this coast road last night through a blizzard of foam off the sea, curtains of spray, flood water. We couldn't drive up many roads. There were trees down, debris on the road. There was a big effort at first light. Nobody could get out overnight. A big effort at first light to get the roads clear. That has largely succeeded. But schools have been disrupted, buses couldn't run, and the big clear-up is going to take a long time. Storm Kieran took nearly 2 years, and there are concerns here right across the Channel Islands that getting the environment at least back to something like normal is going to take that long again. Back to you.
Robert, many thanks. Robert Hall reporting there. Well, in Norfolk, there had been fears that 14 cliff-top homes in Hemsby were in imminent danger of collapsing onto the beach below because of last night's storm. But it looks as though they have survived. Our reporter, Robbie West, is there.
Despite these waves battering the cliff and wind and rain from the storm, these homes that experts feared could be lost to the sea were still standing this morning.
We just had put all brand new solar panels on the roof, a new heat pump, all new radiators through.
Still upgrading his Norfolk home that he's lived in for 25 years, Cliff was one of the few people that stayed at his own home last night.
That's a relief, you know, at least I've got a few more days. I know mine stands a little bit back from next either side of me, but that's it. I'm afraid it's going to go.
Last night, only a few inches was lost from the edge of the cliff, not the 10 metres that some experts had feared could happen. While people here are relieved, the storm is set to continue throughout the weekend, and people are worried they could still lose their homes to the sea. Yesterday, this street was filled with removal vans. This morning, the homes were empty. No properties were lost overnight, but the council are still warning that the danger hasn't passed.
One thing that has took us obviously by surprise, and many of the people living on the coast here, is the speed at which coastal erosion is happening right now. It's a very dangerous time. It'd be best to vacate your building, and we will give you all the support you need in being able to do that.
And what will happen if they don't leave?
Well, who knows? Obviously, the risk is there. Could be a potential risk of life or risk of home, and we want to do all we can to be able to prevent that from happening.
Homes on the edge, with experts fearing that at any moment some could be lost to the sea. With more storms forecast, most residents here feel it's a case of when, not if. Robbie West, BBC News in Hemsby.